What if Olympus was real? The gods' hidden agendas. Imagine a world where the Greek gods are not just myths, but living, breathing, and very dangerous realities. Zeus, the king of the gods, rules from a gilded throne, but his thunderbolts are not for show. Apollo drives a fiery chariot across the sky, but his divine light could be a weapon. And Ars, the god of war, doesn't just watch from the sidelines. He's orchestrating every conflict on Earth. What if the ancient world was just a stage, and humanity a cast of pawns in an eternal, cosmic game? But what if their divine power wasn't absolute? What if their immortality came at a terrifying price? And what if the famous stories we know, the battles, the love affairs, the heroic quests were just a public relations campaign, a cover for their hidden agendas and the true, dark nature of their power? Tonight, on Enigma Unlocked, we leave the pages of mythology behind and enter a world where the gods are real. Their motives are questionable, and humanity is at their mercy. Prepare to uncover what if Olympus was real? The gods' hidden agendas. Our journey into the enigma of a real Olympus begins with a simple question. What is a god? In Greek mythology, the gods of Olympus were immortal beings of immense power, but they were also deeply flawed. They were consumed by jealousy, lust, anger, and betrayal. They were, in essence, a reflection of the best and worst of humanity, but on a grand, cosmic scale. So, what would happen if these flawed, powerful beings were suddenly, terrifyingly real? What would their true agenda be? Let's start with Zeus, the king of Olympus. We know him as the thunder god, the ruler of the skies, and a notorious philanderer. But if Zeus were real, his power would be absolute. He would control the weather, natural disasters, and the very flow of energy on Earth. His divine will would be the ultimate law, and his numerous affairs wouldn't just be tabloid gossip. They would be a form of political strategy, a way to create alliances and exert his influence over the mortal world. His thunderbolts wouldn't be a sign of divine rage. They would be a form of brutal, calculated power used to eliminate anyone who dared to question his authority. The Trojan War, for instance, might not have been a conflict over a woman, but a subtle manipulation by Zeus to weaken to powerful mortal kingdoms that were grown. And what about Hera, the queen of Olympus? We know her as the jealous, vengeful wife who tormented Zeus's many lovers. But if Hera were real, her jealousy would be a political tool. She would be the master of espionage and sabotage, using her spies and influence to undermine Zeus's mortal alliances, and to ensure that her divine lineage remained pure. Her vendettas against Zeus's lovers and their children wouldn't be petty squabbles. They would be a form of political warfare, a way to maintain the power of her throne and her family. In this world, Hera is not just a scorned wife. She is a political mastermind, a shadow queen who rules with a cold, calculated fury. The rest of the Olympians are just as complex. Poseidon, the god of the seas, wouldn't just control the tides. He would control all maritime trade, communication, and warfare. Every ship that sailed the seas, every cargo that was transported, would be at his mercy. He would be the ultimate power broker, a god who could bring entire economies to their knees with a single tsunami. And Hades, the god of the underworld, wouldn't just rule over the dead. He would be the master of all earthly resources, the god of the unseen, the dark, and the forgotten. He would be the ultimate power behind the throne, a god who could not be reasoned with, a god who held the ultimate trump card, the final destination of every soul. But what is the true nature of their power, and what do they truly want? For the gods of Olympus, power is not about ruling a kingdom. It is about sustaining their existence. In Greek mythology, the gods feed on the prayers, sacrifices, and belief of mortals. Without humanity's devotion, they would slowly fade away. This leads us to a shocking possibility. What if the gods' agendas are not about ruling humanity, but about ensuring its survival, so that they can continue to exist? Consider the heroes of Greek mythology. Perseus, the slayer of Medusa. Heracles, the man who performed 12 impossible labors. Achilles, the greatest warrior of all time. We see them as heroes, but what if they were just tools? What if their heroic quests were not about saving humanity, but about generating enough faith and devotion to keep the gods alive? Medusa, for instance, might not have been a monster. She could have been a rival deity, a powerful symbol of a competing belief system. By having Perseus slay her, Athena would not only prove her power, but also eliminate a rival god, ensuring that her own power grew. And what about the Trojan War? We see it as a conflict over a woman, Helen of Troy. But what if it was a cosmic battle between the gods? The war, with its immense bloodshed and heroic acts, would have generated a tidal wave of belief, a tsunami of prayer and sacrifice that would have fueled the gods' power for centuries. The gods were not just watching, they were orchestrating the entire conflict, pulling the strings of the mortal pawns, all to ensure their own survival. The Trojan War, in this view, is not a tragedy. It is a meticulously planned, cosmic harvest of belief. This is a far more chilling and far more profound version of the myth. It suggests that humanity is not just a witness to the gods' lives, but a battery, a source of energy that the gods need to survive. It suggests that the gods' love for humanity is not love at all, but a form of divine self-preservation, a way to ensure that their power and immortality continue. It raises the question, are we their children, or are we just their livestock? But what if there is a way to break free from this divine prison? What if the gods, for all their power, are just as vulnerable as we are? In Greek mythology, the gods are not all powerful. They are bound by fate, a force that is even more powerful than them. And they are vulnerable to the same emotions that torment humanity: jealousy, betrayal, and most importantly, love. This is where the true cracks in Olympus begin to show. Consider the story of Prometheus, the titan who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. We see him as a hero, a martyr who suffered for the sake of humanity. But what if he was more than that? What if he was a revolutionary, a titan who understood that the gods' power was a lie? By giving humanity fire, he did not just give them a tool. He gave them the means to create, to innovate, to break free from their dependency on the gods. He gave them the means to build their own civilization, to create their own future, to become their own masters. And what about Icarus, the boy who flew too close to the sun. We see him as a tragic figure, a victim of his own hubris. But what if he was more than that? What if his flight was a rebellion? A desperate attempt to show humanity that they could reach for the heavens? That they could be more than just pawns in a cosmic game? His fall was a tragedy, but his flight was a triumph, a testament to the fact that humanity, even in its most fleeting moments, could be divine. In this world, the gods are not all powerful. They are a political machine, a system of control, a system that is held together by their power and their need for belief. But the system is fragile. It is held together by a web of lies, a web of fear, and a web of propaganda. And the heroes, the rebels, the revolutionaries are the ones who dare to pull at the strings. The ones who dare to show humanity the truth. They are the ones who remind us that the gods' power is not absolute, that their immortality is not a blessing, and that their hidden agendas are just a lie. The legacy of Greek mythology, it seems, is not in the heroic tales of gods and mortals, but in the political allegories that are hidden within them. It is a testament to the fact that power, no matter how absolute, is always a lie. And it is a testament to the fact that humanity, even in its most fragile state, can always find a way to break free. The myths of Olympus, in this view, are not just stories. They are a warning. They are a warning about the dangers of unchecked power, the dangers of blind faith, and the dangers of a world where we are nothing more than pawns in a cosmic game. They are a warning that reminds us that the greatest dangers are not in the monsters of our past, but in the gods of our present. And they are a warning that reminds us that our greatest power is not in our strength, but in our curiosity. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the heart of Olympus's most dangerous secrets. Your curiosity fuels our quest to uncover the unknown. If you enjoyed this mind-bending exploration of the gods' hidden agendas, please give this video a like. It really helps us out. And don't forget to subscribe to Enigma Unlocked for more journeys into the bizarre, the unexplained, and the history they don't want you to know. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.